It's in chapter 17. It's on page 351 of your text. It's the subsection is bringing fantasy to truth. Forgiveness and the holy relationship is the chapter title, Bringing Fantasy to Truth. This really is one of my favorite sections, this beginning part too, because it really clarifies. And like you were saying, Bo, it's such a methodical thought system, and so is the text. We stopped a couple of weeks ago on this third paragraph. Let me reread the third paragraph and then we'll go into the rest of them. It says, when you maintain that there must be an order of difficulty in miracles, all you mean is that there are some things you would withhold from truth. This is important. This goes right along with our workbook lesson, where it says, where we're talking about, let me remember what my purpose is. Let me have a single focus in my mind, that I want to remember who I am, that I want to know I am God's holy child, that I want to know that I am entitled to miracles. Those kinds of single purposes, those remembrances, those eternal truths in our minds are so critical for us. And that's what this is saying here. If you think that there are certain things in your life that are beyond healing, beyond the scope of transformation, beyond finding peace within, then what that means, all you mean is that there are some things that you don't want to turn over to God. Because what the Course is constantly saying to us, what you do not let him look at, he cannot heal for you. What you do not open to the Holy Spirit, you keep secret and away, he cannot heal for you. There is nothing that he cannot transcend. You know, we are under no laws but God's. That's what the Course is constantly telling us. But we don't believe that. We believe we are under the laws of this world. And there's nothing wrong with stopping at a red light, walking when the thing says walk. Those are important things for us to do. But to remember always that when we look at a problem that seems impossible to solve, what this is saying is that's only because you're looking with a limited perspective. If you had a problem, say for example, our son Jeffrey's taking calculus. AP calculus. The last person he should ask about AP calculus is me. Okay? So I can help him a little bit because he's doing a review section right now. But I even said, this is getting pretty scary. Okay? You need to go to smarter people than me who have a much bigger, broader perspective. And so he does. He goes and talks to his teachers, and he goes to that wonderful Khan Academy if you've ever gone online. But you got to know where to look on the Khan Academy to get the right things. And so he goes there, and these people can lay it out so systematically. So why aren't we going to the one who can lay out truth for us so systematically? As you were saying, Bo. So it makes so much sense when I read the Course. Why are we not bringing our broken toys to God? Instead of telling him, come down here and try to figure it out from my limited perspective. I remember the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Remember when, you'll probably all go back to it, when Zuzu comes home from school. Doesn't everybody know this? All I have to say is Zuzu. You know who it is. You know, the little girl comes home from school and she keeps her flower in her jacket and she catches a little sniffle. And so she leaves her little flower in the glass, and Jimmy Stewart, the father, comes up because he's all frustrated because he's embezzled money, but really it's Uncle Billy, but he's going to go to jail, and so he's all angry. So that's all this subtext is going on, and he's mad at the teacher for giving the little girl a flower, and she was hiding her flower under her jacket so she wouldn't lose her petals, and the flower petals are coming off, and the little girl says to her father, "Fix it, Daddy. Here's the petals that have come off of a live plant. Fix it, glue them on, stick them on, fix it." And what does he do? He turns away from her and he hides the petals and he brings the flower back and he says, there it is. He fixed it. She couldn't tell what was off and what wasn't off. And she puts it in the water and she goes, oh, it's so beautiful. But think about it. She went to her father because she knew he could fix anything, right? That's a child. We go, oh, well, that's just the innocence of a child, to think that a father can fix anything. And yet, that's the basic motivation within us. Our Father actually can fix anything. And we limit him when we believe he cannot. That's what this is saying. We limit him. It doesn't stop him from being limitless, but we limit him in our minds when we believe in an order of difficulty and miracles. That's what this is saying. So when you say, he can move a mountain or he can raise the dead and heal the sick, well, that doesn't make any sense to us. But in the first principles of a miracle, it says, a miracle can raise the dead and heal the sick. Why? Because you made sickness and death, and therefore you believe in them. But God does not believe in your limitation. So you have to decide if you are going to live in your limitation or if you are going to remember, Karen, as you said, that you are one with God. Remembering that means we bring our broken toys to the truth. Not saying, oh, my toys are broken, so come down, God, and see if you can fix my broken toys. What we do is we bring those broken thoughts to God, and he has a greater perspective of how to handle the circumstances and situations of this experience, to lift us to a miracle. That's what this is saying. And that's what's pretty powerful about it. There is no order of healing. That's what it's meaning. All you mean is that there's something that you're going to withhold from truth, because there is really no order of difficulty in miracles. You believe truth cannot deal with these things only because you would keep them from truth. Very simply, your lack of faith in the power that heals all pain arises from your wish to retain some aspects of reality for fantasy. So you want to say some things are impossible. That's impossible. That's what it means by saying some aspects of reality you say are impossible. And yet that was what was said to Jesus all the time as he walked this world. That's impossible. And yet it was the possible in the face of what seemed impossible that made his life not only a testament for us, but for other spiritual leaders and spiritual followers and spiritual thought systems that were out there and that came after that. If you but realized what this must do to your appreciation of the whole, if you think some things are impossible, then God can't handle them. And so to everything that we are going through, whether it's a physical challenge, whether it's an emotional challenge, whether it's some seeming lack in our lives, we need to bring it to God, not tell him, come down into my pain, come down into my suffering, come down into my problem, come down into my sports issues and fix it. What we say is, I bring my judgments about sports to you. I bring any issue I may be feeling to you. I leave it in your hands. I don't point you down to my limitations. I lift it up to your limitlessness. That's what it's telling us. What you reserve, as it says, for yourself, you take away from him. When you point him to come to you, you take away from his ability to show you a greater perspective.